That was a valid question for school board. We'll let George I'd like to think it's nice.
All right, I would like to call the meeting to order. It is 1:54.
12:54?
12:54, yeah, 12:54 in the afternoon. This is February 3rd. This is after deliberative session. The Budget Committee is being called to order. We said the Pledge of Allegiance earlier, so I'm going to dispense with that. And just the only article that changed is the fire station bond. The number that the Budget Committee was presented with was $5.5 million. A lot of work has gone on after that vote. I sent an email out that evening to the fire chief, the selectmen, and the town manager know what the outcome of the vote was. The next day, I heard from the chairman of the selectmen saying that they heard loud and clear from the community, and he was committed to doing due diligence for the committee, for the community. I actually asked if Carrie could be a part of that because I know Carrie's background and that she's been very valuable in that, for us in understanding that. And he immediately invited Carrie, and I was so glad that Carrie could participate. So I do thank her for, because I think it was very much last minute participating in that. So I think we've heard today a lot of what happened at that meeting. I know Brent was very eloquent up there, really talking about some very difficult discussion that committee had in coming to agreement, and that it was a unanimous agreement of that group of citizens and elected officials to bring forward those changes. So I want to ask if there are any questions or comments today. I did ask that the fire chief and chair of the selectmen attend, so if there were any final questions, we could be getting that information right from them. So I want to open it up to any discussion or questions.
So my only comment would just be thank you for going back and taking a second look, Carrie. Thank you for your involvement. I know personally I really want to support it, and that number was just hard to take, so I appreciate all the hard work that you all did.
Any other?
I just would like to say this is actually how government's supposed to work, not the way we see normally. The transparency obviously is there. There was a huge voice, and I think if you guys look back and to rebrand this, you would see a crystal ball and probably start in a whole different direction, and that's fine. This is how we learn. But I think as a town, like Mr. Perry says, I think common sense sits in. If we have the information, we're going to make that. Carrie, I know you're a mom and have a couple of children and busy, and I think being able to probably bring the engineering background back into play was huge. I just think it was important to do it right, as I stated, and I think we're there. I think that number is not only the numbers proper, but I didn't want to just be a number. I wanted to make sure that the men and women that work on the fire department have a place that not only is there, but can grow into down the road. And I think the fact that you've contingency that out is huge, and I just don't see that a lot in public buildings being built these days. It happened in my agency, so we're already growing out of it. So just nice job all around, so it's good to see.
Can I make a motion to approve it?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to recommend and a second, and I would like to allow the chair of the selectmen to.
I just want to say, and to echo everything, I participated along with Fire Chief John and Carrie in an exercise that was exactly how government should work. And I'm thrilled that it worked the way it did. I'm thrilled that people had the opportunity to offer input, and I was pleasantly surprised and educated at the input that Carrie offered, John and Frank and all of the people. And the last question that I asked the committee when we finished at the end of 6 hours was, I told Carrie today, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the answer, but I asked, can we unanimously approve what we have just worked on for 2 days? Is there anyone that is unhappy with what has been presented? And I was thrilled that we were able to get a unanimous vote of every member on that group committee. And you know what, Dad, again, if Washington worked like this, we'd all be in great shape.
We'd all be rich.
Right, and I'm just thrilled at the input, I'm thrilled at the opportunity to be able to sit here and say thank you to everybody that participated, because it was a fantastic, we heard, and like I said, I was determined to listen, and I was determined to try to bring forth something. There's no question we need it, determined to bring forth something that was appropriate, and I can't thank everybody enough, and that's why I want to be here, and to thank everyone. So.
Okay. And there's a motion on the table. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of recommending the fire station at $3,750,000 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? It's unanimous.
Thank you
That's
very much.
800.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I can, I think to Bob's point, you know, it's always easy to look back. Everything in the rearview mirror tends to be a lot clearer than looking out. Going forward, and you know, we were open to input and so forth, but I think going forward, having that, what we had in that crunch week from the get-go would be the change. I would strongly suggest that any project going forward, have a rep from you folks, have a rep from the Board of Selectmen, so that everybody's kind of in the know and picks little things out. Obviously, this being a little unique in that we were working with plans that were designed a number of years ago, not knowing the intimate details of the whole design, myself or really any of us. That's where we had to go back and revisit the plan and so forth. And you know, as spoke a little bit earlier, you know, there's some room for growth, but there's more room to expand as we need, and never losing sight that can be a safety complex and shared resources. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, just a reminder that I want to make sure next week, a deliberative session on Saturday, that we have all read all the minutes that we have outstanding, and I'll send a list around of what I have as outstanding so that we can be caught up at least as of next week.
Homework.
Because we got a lot of changes coming with the new board, so.
But when you think about it, 4 of them are up, right? So that's half the board.
The only positions that are not up for election this year are Carrie, myself, and Jen. So after next week,
There's still possible write-ins.
you can always wage a write-in. Yep. All right.
If I had one more second, because I don't know if we're going to get next week, I just want to say this, this end of my time, I think we've evolved in a great way, especially this last year, and hopefully you guys can grow on this as far as the way we do budgets. I think it's normal to have debate. It's normal to have flat tires getting done and rolls of the eyes, but at the end of the day, I think we do a good job of putting a product forward to the town. Me, myself, it's something that I've done as I'm in the process of probably transitioning careers. It's something that has been looked at by prospective employers. My time here on Budget Committee, and I don't talk about crayons with them usually. We'll save them till they sign the offer sheet, but that being said, it's really kind of helped me better look at how a town, I mean, because really, we're the key holders, or we manage a $27 million business, and we make sure that that business keeps running. So never keep your eye on that, and just never forget that we're all neighbors, that we're all here for, you know, we're here for the town of Litchfield. I think that's huge. Like I said, Cindy, you'll never see me comment on a political post or anything online, probably at all. I want to say your post was phenomenal, and Jen, your post was great, because I think we get, as a society, and it's everything's an easy button. If you can't like it or hit it on Facebook or follow someone on Instagram or Snapbot or whatever people do these days, which I'm not that good at, I can barely send an email, becomes an issue. So I think for us, it's time for someone else to step up behind your really big keyboards, if anybody's listening out there. And if you think you can type, you can do this job, because you can just articulate through words. So I just want to say thank you, Cindy, and I think you were part of the original, and Benkin. So I just want to leave it at that. so.
Thank you.
And I will be signing up for the wine of the month for your next. Last comment.
Any other comments? Is there a
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Made and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye.